everybody and welcome to Hannah's Happy Space. I'm Hannah and you join me here at home today in a small town on the edge of Dartmoor in Devon in southwest England. Today is Wednesday the 28th of June and just, you know, like all British podcasters do, it is quite warm today, so I'm feeling it already. But I was going to have the back door open, but the birds in the back garden on the feeder are being so loud, it's all you could hear on the camera, and my fan has developed a squeak. So I just have to be a little bit warmer today, not a problem. Just, you've got to let you know what the weather's like, haven't we? So before we start, welcome. Thank you for joining me, like I say. If you're new here, thank you for stopping along. If you've been here before, thank you for coming back. What have I got to tell you? I'm just thinking of anything before we get into the crafty side of things. Let's think. Right, sorry, should have been slightly more prepared. I always make notes for what I'm going to talk to you about craft-wise. Maybe I should put a little bit in about what I've been up to. Not a huge amount, to be honest. As I say, we've had some glorious weather. We've been spending lots of time in the garden. Sebi is making a homework school project about our garden. He does termly projects. You might have seen before if you follow me. He's done space and under the sea and all kinds of big projects. The last one we made was a Viking longship for the Vikings. But this last term, one of the options was a mystery project, and he has chosen to make a video diary about the garden. So we've been out there doing lots of gardening things. What else have we been up to? To be honest, it's Sebi that's up to more stuff than we are. At the moment, he's on his last day of his first ever school residential. So he's had 2 nights away from home. He went on Monday with the school, his year and the year above, when some other local schools went down to Tintagel in Cornwall for sort of an adventure action couple of days. So fingers crossed he's been okay with all of that. Also, you've heard me talk about him and his golf before. He's still doing his mini tour, which he's top of the leaderboard at the moment, and he has been doing other little competitions in between, which he has been winning. Very proud of him. He is a very accomplished golfer. I think when people hear that he's a 9-year-old golfer, if you don't know golf, you kind of think, oh great, okay, plays golf, but he is freakishly good, is what we say about him, bless his heart.
Beauty.
Yeah, so he's a busy little bee. What else have we been up to? We've been to Knit Club a couple of times. It's been a little while since I've seen you. We've got a new venue for our Knit Club. Our cafe that we used to go to has closed for a while. So we've got a new venue in the local fish and chip shop. They've got a lovely cafe upstairs. So there was a great big group of us the other day there, and we shall be going again tomorrow. What else? Obviously, I've got to mention my lovely friend Ruth from Ruth Loves to Knit. She joined me last night. She came up while she dropped her son off to cadets, and she came up to spend a couple of hours with me, and my sister and my mum came up. And I taught her not to crochet, because she does know how to crochet a little. I'll put that in, because I know, you know, I don't want to give you ideas of grandeur, Ruth. Yes, she came up, she wanted to learn how to do granny squares. If you saw her last podcast, you'll know that she was showing some crochet kits that she'd bought or been bought, and some patterns, and she'd all of a sudden thought, I can't do this. And I said to her at Knit Group, I will teach you how to do a granny square. You can do trebles in rows, so you can do a granny square. And she did. She might have seen a photo on her Instagram, my Instagram, if you follow us. She managed, she did do 2 rounds, and there was a mistake in it that we couldn't work out. So she said, just rip it out and we'll start again. I know, she doesn't care about those kinds of things. Ripped it out, started again, and she went home with a 4-round granny square. So she was very pleased with herself, and I knew she could do it, and she did. So well done, Ruth. So her and her daughter, I'm sure, will be grannying together in competition to see who can make the biggest, best granny squares. So that's what we have been up to. I think that's probably enough to be getting on with for us. We don't lead very exciting lives, but enjoyable lives. Right, let's stop waffling and get on with what we are all here for, and that is for the craft. Now, you're going to have to not bear with me, just forgive me for keep looking that way. So that way, I'm in my lounge. Over there is my conservatory, which we don't talk about because it's an absolute bomb site at the moment, where I do my sewing. But obviously the garden is beyond. And as I say, the birds are out there making an awful lot of noise. We have had loads. At the back of our garden is a great big hedge, and there's been birds nesting in there, and the chicks are all coming out and fledging and coming to our bird feeder constantly, and they're so noisy. So I keep looking over there because some of the times they land on the fence, sometimes they make great big noises. So I'm very sorry. That's what's going on over there. Right, let's get on with it, shall we? Let's stop waffling. Let me find my notes because I've buried them in a pile of whips and, oh, there goes the remote control, pile of whips and finished objects and all sorts. And it was tidy yesterday because this is where we sat to do our crochet yesterday, so I had to clear the nest for Ruth. Privileged, I know. So let me have a slurp of coffee, which is absolutely boiling hot. I don't know why I've chosen such a hot drink. Okay. Right, okay, let's get on. So, finished objects. Right. Oh, I seem to have buried them. Hold on. Here we go. So I showed you these last time. I had to go back and check actually because I thought, well, I'm sure I've shown you these, but they were only half finished when I showed you before. So, just to prove that I have completed them, I'm going to show you some socks. So this is the first one. And there is 2, just to prove that, I've definitely got a pair. These are the Rye Light socks by Tin Can Knits, which is a free pattern on Ravelry. Before I go any further, any patterns, yarns, podcasters, etc. will all be linked in the description box below. If you want to find out anything for yourself. If I forget to put anything on there, just message me and let me know. Okay, right, so these are, like I say, the Rye Light socks. They are knit using Mousewitch Yarns from lovely Mandy from Mouse's Makes. This colourway is her Star Wars inspired colourway called Astral Conflict. And these were an entry for May. Yeah, because we're in June. So these were an entry for May for the Year of Socks by Denise Deer, which is a year-long sock-along, make-along. And the prompt was Star Wars or Star Trek. So 2 socks to go away now. Won't be wearing them for a while. But yeah, absolutely lovely. Bit more interesting than your basic vanilla sock. I think I followed the, just double checking, I think everything else from the pattern I did, because I always do a heel flap and gusset, and I think this pattern definitely had a heel flap and gusset in it anyway. I was just using the pattern really for the stitch count for the garter stitch. So that's those. Right, that's one pair of socks. Those over there. Second pair of socks. You can tell I've only got one pair of sock blockers because I've got one sock on a block and the other one loose. So the second pair of socks I've got are these bright and beautiful socks. These are this was for another make along, and that was the Eurovision make along. I can't remember what the hashtag was. That was at the end of May again, which was a Support Ukraine sock along in line with the Eurovision Song Contest, and that was ran by Jeanette from Crafty Creations, Karen from Stitches and Jacks, and Alex from My Yarny Corner. And you needed to knit a pair of socks, or you didn't even have to finish by the end of it, I don't think, but it was a pair of socks knit in yellow and blue, or a pattern by a Ukrainian designer. So I went for the yellow and blue option. Yes, there are two. This poor one doesn't look quite as neat and tidy. I have to be honest, it had fallen down the side of the sofa and got a bit scrunched. Yeah, so let me tell you a bit more about this. The yarn that I've used is, so the blue is King Cole cotton socks 4-ply in the colourway Azure. So that was for the rib and the heel. Then the main body of the sock has been done in another King Cole yarn called Footsie, and this is the lemon colourway. With this, I did talk about this in the last podcast, is a sock yarn without wool. It's mainly like an acrylic type of affair, and something called PBT, which has got a very long name, and I think I've got it somewhere, she says, but I think I might have ripped it out. It's a plasticky type, sort of something like, I think a bit like acrylic polyamide, that kind of thing. But I'll be interested to see how they wear. I've not used, not worn any. I've worn cotton socks before, but obviously they're a cotton wool acrylic mixture. These aren't, so we'll see what they are. And at the top of the foot, we've got that just little simple eyelet lace pattern, and that is called the Chicky lace. And that's a free pattern on Ravelry again from Socken Van Pien. So I just wanted a little bit extra than your vanilla sock, and on the pattern actually the lace carries on all the way down the top of the foot. And when I made the first sock, I made a mistake on one round, so my eyelets were all out of place, so I ripped that back and then thought, actually I'll just keep it simple and do the foot. So that is that pair of socks, and that is it for socks. I normally have quite a few pair of socks. I haven't actually got a pair on the go. I have got a pair on the go, but then there's not really a lot to them, and if I'm completely honest, I'm not sure where they are. Let's move on. So let me have another slow. I feel like I'm really talking fast. Let me slow down a little bit. Right, where are we going next? Aha, the Tolsta. Oh, there. Tolsta Tees. Now, I spoke about this pattern at the end of my last podcast, and I was planning on knitting them. Tolsta Tee is a summer weight tee. The original pattern was written in DK for DK weight yarn, and I think the idea was a cotton weight top, obviously, as it was for a summer top. A fingering weight version has now come out, which I also have. The pattern is from the Cray Bear. She has a podcast. Links will be below. Her name is Rebecca, and I'm not sure if it's Clow or Clow. I should have asked Ruth yesterday when she's here, but that's the pattern designer. Like I say, it's a pattern on Ravelry, and I love it. That is all I've got to say. I love the pattern. I've put a picture of me wearing this tee on Instagram, and if you've seen that, you'll know that I have plans for many more. So let me just show you. I will put a photo in. Obviously, can't wear it today because it's rather warm, as previously mentioned. and I can't fit it all in. So I will put a picture in. And this is the jumper or tee. Just sort of drape it over me. It's blowing out a little bit. There we go. There's the colours that I chose. I think I did show you the yarn last time in the Still in Their Balls. I finished this and I had yarn left over, the 100 gram balls, had yarn left over, and I had the ball bands, and I thought I'm going to put them somewhere safe because I'll need those for the podcast, put them away nice and tidy. Can I find them? No, I just spent a little while whilst I was setting up. Not a clue, cannot remember. I remember getting them all together, putting them somewhere, no idea where. So I haven't got the bands to show you, but I can tell you what the yarn is. This is Paintbox Yarns from Lovecrafts. Cotton Mix DK, I'm just reading off my notes. 50% cotton, 50% acrylic. It's quite bouncy. I don't know how it's going to do stretch-wise, but I think it was lovely to knit with. It wasn't I didn't find it splitty at all. And you know, and the colours are lovely. This isn't my sort of usual. I know I like bright colours, but when it comes to tops and things, don't really wear so many colours like this. And then I made it and I thought, oh, it's lovely, but I don't know if I have anything to wear it with. But I wore, on the photo, I had this navy blue dress on and it looked fine, I thought. They haven't been blocked yet. And I wasn't going to draw attention to it, but I will now. There's a bit on the front here where there was a join in the ball, so I had to join it in, and I wish I'd sort of, I don't know, done it at the back. I don't know what's happened. The stitches have gone a bit sort of pulled, so hopefully that will block out. It is striped, obviously. The pattern isn't striped, the pattern is just for one colour, but if you look through the hundreds and hundreds of projects on Ravelry, lots of people have done stripes. I have done joggler stripes on the back. I can see that immediately. But like I say, it hopefully will block out a little bit. And if it doesn't, it's on my back, so I won't see it. And if anybody comes up to me and says, oh, I can see your joggler stripes, well, I probably wouldn't say anything. I'd say, oh. Anyway, I love it. Like I say, it didn't use all of the yarn. I had 400 gram balls. I obviously am a larger lady, so I did the bigger size, and it knits up really quick because you do it on slightly larger needles. So for me to get a tee out of less than 400 grams of yarn is pretty good going, I think. Just show you the increased detail there on the raglan. This pattern had German short rows, which I haven't done before. They're that particular method. Yeah, I think they are proper German short rows. So I hadn't done those before, so that was something new to me. Anything else? I think this one I followed the pattern exactly. So all the rib is done the way it should be and everything like that. All the increases are done the way they are in the pattern. But there are so many ways you can modify this. Like I say, if you look on the projects on Ravelry or on Instagram, there's so many, and people have done, obviously, just in the fact that you can do it in however many colours you want. I've seen people do different thicknesses of stripes. There's been ones with lace, you know, eyelet rows. Some people have done sort of lace panels or cable panels down the front. Because it's a plain stockinette front, if you know what you're doing, you can do what you like on it, I guess. And I have got another one of these to show you, so I'll show you how I've adapted to that as well. So that is the first Tolsta Tee. Very pleased with it. Lots of lovely bright colours. But it will have to wait a while to be actually worn. Right, that's Tolsta number 1. Tolsta number 2. Okay, now this is the same pattern. I will put a photo of me. I'll just drape it over me for now. I will put a photo in of me wearing it. So again, I've gone for stripes because I was going through stash to see what I could find, and what I did find actually in Cara, my sister's stash, was this yarn. She had quite a few colours in it. She wasn't using it, I did check. And it is this yarn, Stylecraft Recreate, which is a double knit yarn. This is 100% recycled yarn. So it's not a cotton, so obviously it has a different feel, different drape. This is 40% wool, excuse me, 40% wool, 30% acrylic, 30% polyester, which is all recycled. It's a DK weight and is approximately 350 meters for 100 grams. So this is all the yarn I have got left. These are the 4 colours. I have got just over 30 grams of each of those and just over 50 grams of each of those. I knew I wouldn't have as much of the cream left because that's, I think, all the ribs in that as well. Yeah, so loads left. And I have made a few alterations to this pattern. Instead of the suggested raglan increases, I have done yarn overs. So you get this, there we go, eyelets down the increase, obviously on both sides, and just because I prefer it, a 2x2 rib. So that's the rib on the neck, the sleeves, and the bottom. Right, so that obviously is a different, I mean, it's not really soft, especially when you've been knitting in a cottony type yarn, but I think it will soften slightly when it's blocked and washed and everything. But it was lovely to knit with, no problems knitting with it, not splitty, anything like that. It's come out slightly smaller than the cotton one, but nothing a little bit of blocking won't fix. It fits, I've had it on. So that is my second Tolsta, which I'm again very pleased with. This will go with some more of my outfits because it's slightly more muted colours. Yeah, I can't say enough about this pattern, and if you're a smaller person, these are going to knit up so quickly, because I mean this was pretty quick, probably a little too quick, I have to admit. I finished that one and then woof, cast this one on, and it only took 4 days, something like that. And then when that one was finished, I cast on a fingering weight and did, which I'll show you shortly, and I did quite a large amount of knitting on it all in one day and caused myself an incredible amount of pain the following day. I have tendinitis in my wrists, but with the amount of what I chose to do, follow knitting wise, followed by heavy watering cans, I flared up tendinitis in both my wrists, elbows and shoulders, and spent the following 2 days in agony, not being able to do anything, and not being able to do any knitting, crochet, anything like that is so boring. I watched a lot of telly. I was on some quite strong painkillers, so there was quite a lot of sleeping going on. But God, I was just, oh, I don't know, I physically couldn't move my arm, so there was no way I was doing anything. But I did, there was that constant in my brain thinking, you could be doing something now. You could be knitting, you could be crocheting, you should be doing something. No. And I've learnt from it. My mum has said, don't do so much knitting. I mean, who's ever been told that? Right, that's the second Tolsta. I'll put some photos in. Yeah, if you haven't made one or you haven't seen the pattern, definitely go and look at it, and I highly recommend. Right, let me move those labels out of the way. See, I managed to keep all those labels. I'll tell you, when I've finished here and I pack up, I'll walk out, put things away, and I'll find that yarn. Okay, knitting done for finished objects. Let me have another quick swig of coffee, because as much as it was boiling hot, it's probably cold now. Getting there. Right, okay. Crochet. Only 2 little quick bits of crochet. If you saw last time this podcast, you will know we're big Star Wars fans in this house. Star Wars bag from Amelia Xjoy, full of tiny balls of cotton, and I was using this little pattern book, Star Wars Crochet by Lucy Colin, and I'd done a huge amount of other characters which I showed you last time, and this time I have finished Boba Fett. These are all made in DK cottons from Stash, so there's all sorts on there. Majority of it is Rikarumi. Don't know if I've got anything in here with a label on. They're these little tiny 25-gram balls from Rico, which they do in hundreds of colours, and they also do some metallic sort of, is it lame metallics, which I used crazily to make C3PO. He's come out slightly smaller. He looks tiny compared to this one. Comes out slightly smaller. Ooh, oh dear, excuse me, they've all fallen on the floor. Because that one is, you know, the yarn is thinner than the cottons. But Sebby's very pleased with that one. Nice and shiny. It was a little bit rough on the hands, have to admit. And I don't know if you can see. Ooh, he's got little glittery eyes. So that's those 2 little Star Wars people. To show you those, they were just little quick ones to show you. Slide that back in there. They can go back over with over on our fireplace. Either side of the fireplace is like a lower shelf, and one of them has been taken over by Sebby's Minecraft Lego creations and these little crochet Star Wars people. Excuse me. Right, okay, so that is crochet for finished objects. Then we are on to sewing. Ooh, oh, I buried it. Right, here we go. It's just a tiny little sewing project. During this weather, it's been a little bit difficult. I'm sure a lot of you have had the same feelings. Yarn crafts and hot weather don't necessarily mix. And I think this was after I'd done these Tolsters, and I was, you know, a bit knitted out, and I didn't really want to do anything. I did think about doing some more cross stitch, because smaller projects, they're, you know, when you've got them in a hoop, that nothing's on you. But I just thought, oh, I've done quite a lot of cross stitch. Is there anything else I could do? And then I remembered seeing a while ago, Jeanette from Crafty Creations had made one of these little needle cases that I'm going to show you. And I thought to myself, oh, I'm definitely going to make one of those at some point, because I did have all my hand sewing needles in my pincushion, which I'm using a lot for when I'm making my bags. And it's a pain having needles in pincushion, because if you put your hand on it, the tops aren't as sharp as the bottoms, but you know, and if you accidentally push them, they're gone. They're inside the pincushion and that's it, they're gone. So I thought I'll make one of these, and that's where my needles can stay. So again, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen this. This is my, oh, it's nice. I love the fabrics. This is my Hexagon needle case. This is a free pattern from Emma at the Vintage Sewing Box. Again, the links will be down the bottom. And yeah, you get the templates and you get all the instructions. Oh, I'm just tucking in, there's a needle with thread in it, it looks like it's hanging out. So that's the front. So these little hexagons have been EPP'd, English paper pieced, and they are 1/2 inch hexies. So you're really using little tiny scraps. The background fabric is a piece of calico that I found, and then this spotty fabric, which is on the inside as well. I really struggled with this is like the way it's folded over creates the binding, and you knew like an invisible binding hem stitch. I just couldn't get to grips with it. So in the end, I just thought, well, actually, it was my mum suggested, if you can't do it, you don't have to follow the pattern exactly. Do what you like. And because I'd done this running stitch as it is in the pattern around the hexies, I just attached with a bright big running stitch. Does the job. And on the back, I think on hers she had a lazy daisy. I've just traced around one of the hexies and done that with the running stitch. Then inside you have some felt hexagons where you keep your needles. So it was a quick little, well, you know, took about a day on and off. I love EPP, very relaxing, very enjoyable. Little job, you know, little craft you can do on the sofa in front of the TV. Very pleased with it. So it's been put to good use already. I have now downloaded her scissor holder. It's like a little pouch you can keep scissors in. EPP again on it. That's another free pattern. So I will be doing that at some point too. So that's my little needle case. Oh, sorry, I was just thinking as if I missed something. Oh, no, that's that. Right, okay, another sewing project, which I'll just show you briefly. Oh, it's all covered in, could do the lint roller going over it, to be honest. I have made myself a project bag. I wanted a big bag for big projects. And when I bought the yarn for my Tolsta, I bought my yarn and Mum had some yarn to make hers. And I was very close to the free postage. And it was either pay the postage or find something. And I found a 2.5 inch fabric charm pack for the same price as the postage. Excellent, had that. And with that, I decided to use them all in one project, and I joined them all together to make one big piece of patchwork. So it's sort of a Japanese type theme to, you've got koi, the collection's called koi pond. So you've got kois, you've got where is the storks, cranes. Yeah. Now, this isn't perfect at all. I haven't done a lot of quilting, patchwork, that kind of thing. So they don't all match up completely, but it does the job for me and gave me a lot of practice. So these were all sewn together in one big piece. Use the same pattern as I do for my bags that I sell. Just modified the sizes to fit with this panel. It is quilted, so it's wadded, and then I've quilted just in straight lines across and on the bottom, so it matches. And on the back, I've just got plain navy fabric and sort of tried to mimic the quilting on the front. Like I say, it is nowhere near perfect at all. Like like I said, the patches don't match up identically. The quilting's a little bit wobbly. But I have since found out, which I didn't know, I need to lengthen my stitches when quilting. So I shall be doing that. And this has been holding my Tolsta tees when I've been working on them. So it is a big bag and I'm very happy with it. Who knows? And there'll be more in the future, I'm sure. I thought there was something on there then. But it, yeah, needs a little bit of work, but I thought I'd share it with you because I like it. Right, that's that. Oh, right, that's that bag. Pop it down there. A few more finished projects. It has been a while since I saw you last. Don't think I've been, you know, done all this in 2 weeks or something. Was it? I think it's almost a month since my last podcast. There was a video in between where I did a little shop update, but I haven't shown you any finished objects for a while, so that's why there are so many. Okay, right, last couple of finished objects, let me move that out of the way, are cross stitches, which I all of a sudden, I did say last time, I don't cross stitch for a while, then I pick it up and I'm addicted, and I seem to have gone just churned them out. Right, let's start with this one. I showed you this was a work in progress last time I saw you. This was the frog on a toadstool. This is a pattern from Jess at the Geeky Stitching Company. Everything will be linked, remember. I've used a lot of Jess's patterns in the past. She used to do clubs and things. She's now just PDF downloads. I think she is going back to kits of a type, but yeah, this is finished now and I have turned it into a little pillow. I saw this idea on Little Workroom Crafts, Davina. She does lots of these little pillows, and I normally just leave the cross stitches in the hoops and frame them that way, or there have been a couple that have gone in proper picture frames, or they just get left, and I thought this would be a perfect way. All of these little ones I'm about to show you are on my mantelpiece. So this is the cross stitch here. That is like I say, it was a downloadable PDF. I have cross stitched it on 14 count aida. I think this one's called Oatmeal. It's a DMC aida, and it's almost sort of like a linen look, so you get sort of natural colours in between. Really like it. It just looks a little bit not quite as stark as white. White's great for some projects, but yeah, I thought it just makes it look a little bit more, I don't know, rustic, if that's the right word. Then I have teamed it up with some spotty fabric to mimic the toadstool, then a piece of yellow rickrack across the join, and then on the back is some spotty fabrics. There are loads of tutorials out there for making different ways of making these little pillows. A lot of them I've seen, I think Davina does it the same way, is to put this together so you sew all the way around and then you open the back, and then you can put like a felt shape over using heat and bond or bond web or something like that. But I was using all what's it made from? Is it polyester? The fibre fill, toy fibre fill. And if I'd have put a hot iron on there to sew a patch on the stick a patch on the back, it would have melted. So instead, all I did was put the two pieces right sides together, sewed all the way around but left a turning gap at the bottom or on the side. I can't remember what I did with this one on the bottom. Turned it the right way out, poked out the corners, stuffed it, then hand sewed with a mattress ladder stitch, the gap closed. So that is the first one, and that's the method I've used for all the rest. So that's Frog and Toadstool from Jess. That's the first one. Then the second one I did, yeah, was this this one, so different shape. Really pleased with this one. Really just nice to have only a couple of colours and let the picture show. This one, I should have said this one, I used, all of these have been done with threads from Stash. These are all DMC threads from my stash that were as near to the colours on the list as I could get. These have been done in Classic Colourworks, which are overdyed threads, so you can see on the hair you get this variation in colour. Really like that, and I think it works really well again with the Oatmeal Aida. So again, this is the Oatmeal Aida 14 count from DMC. I did alter this pattern just in the fact that you can see the little strawberry flowers are white and they didn't show up as much as I wanted them to on this Aida, so I just outlined them with a back stitch. There we go. In one strand of light blue. So this pattern is from Wandling Stitches. All of these designers are on Etsy, and she has got lots of these hair designs, and I will definitely be doing more. Like I say, they're up on the mantelpiece, so when the season changes, she's got some autumn ones. There's one, they all have this hair design on them, and there's one with autumn leaves and acorns, or there's one with pumpkins, so I will be doing either one or both of those. Same sort of idea as this one, so a different piece of fabric on the bottom. Just happened to have some strawberry fabric in stash. Then another piece of rickrack over the join. This one is just plain yellow on the back, and that was made in the same way as I described for the last one. So that's cross stitch number 2. That's that one. Then a slightly larger one, probably similar size to the, no, it is definitely bigger than the frog. Anyway, here, let me show you. So this time I have used black 14 count Aida. Again, it's a DMC. Now it's showing up here, that's good. I'm a little bit disappointed. I didn't have exactly the right colours. I used as near as I did have to in stash, and from a distance the dark green doesn't show up that well. I know it's there and it looks lovely up on the mantelpiece with the rest, and if you go over and have a good look at it, then you can see all the colours. Again, all of these colours are from stash. These are a mixture of DMC and Anchor threads. Now, if you are cross stitching and you buy a pattern, it's got a list of threads, I generally just have a look through stash, find the closest to what's on the picture. But if you go onto Google and just search DMC converter, you can convert them to Anchor or Classic Colourworks or any other sort of types of thread companies, or you can find what's the nearest shade to the ones it's asked for. So this pattern is from Mousewitch Cross Stitch, again on Etsy, and actually she has a sale on her patterns. Sorry, I was just looking, I thought maybe someone else I'd just used had a sale on, but I don't think they have anymore. There was a sale on these patterns, and the next one I show you I did buy on a sale. This pattern I have changed very slightly in the fact that this designer uses a lot of half cross stitches, and I know how to do them, but they're not very neat, and I don't like it. So I just either fill them in with full crosses where, you know, try and make it work, or omit stitches. But I think it's come out nice. Mama Goose. So again, made in the same way, spotty fabric on the top, spotty fabric on the back, and just so you know they are, this one is quite a bit bigger. And the last one, which might just be my favourite, I know it's my mum's favourite, she's going to have a go at making one of these because she absolutely loves donkeys, is a little donkey. So cute. Now for this one, this is from same designer, Mama Witch Crochet. Keep wanting to say crochet. Mama Witch Cross Stitch. This is one of her smaller designs, and this one was on sale. And actually, she does most of hers on black aida. She does show you it on different colours, but again, this one's on the black 14 count aida. And I did change quite a lot of the colours around on this because I didn't have the right ones and I wanted to do it there and then. This is a mixture of all my threads, I think. We've got DMC, Anchor, and I think there's even Classic Colourworks in there. Yeah. Bit more back stitching on this one. So if you're not a fan of back stitching, maybe not quite the right one for you. But I don't mind it. So for this one, this obviously is not portraits, landscape. So we've just gone for some green pattern fabric on the ends, and this I had in stash, which is a bit of scalloped velvet ribbon on either sides, and then just plain green on the back. So lots of cross stitch has been going on. So we've got those. See if I can get them all. 1, 2, 3. So those are. See if I can get a good thumbnail for a change. I said about that last time, and I still had to go through and find my own. So lots of cross stitch has been done. Turning them into these little pillows is a new obsession. I will definitely be doing more, and these are going to go back up on my mantelpiece. So lots of those finished too. That is all of my finished objects. Lots of those. Excuse me. Lots of finished objects, not many whips. So, you know, we're nearly there. We're nearly there. That is gold. Right, come on, let's crack on. So not finished objects, works in progress. Tolsta Tee in my Jurassic Park bag, another bag from Amelia X Joy. Now, I should have had a look, see what state this was in, because it, like I explained about the dodgy yarns, this got put away in the bag, not to be touched for a couple of days. So this is again a Tolsta, so I'm just untangling, but this one is a fingering weight. I have done this much. I've done all the short row shaping, and I'm just going down the yoke. Oh gosh, it's all boinging around on it. It's going to be a bit difficult to show, yeah, because of the cable and all the stitch markers. So black, as you can see, it's going to be another striped, and I've had this hand-dyed in my stash for a little while. There we go. That I will tell you about what the yarns are. I've got my little Grogu stoppers. Let me show you the yarns, probably easier. So this is black. Have I got the label in here? No, this is just Stylecraft Special 4-ply in black. So it's an all acrylic, but it is super soft. Excuse me, fine, lovely to knit with, not a problem with that, and I don't mind using an acrylic yarn, got no problem with that. And I'm teaming it up with yarn from Floof Fibre. This is colourway Haunted House. It's a 4-ply yarn, 80% merino and 20% nylon, 100 grams. Now, I've got it balled up here. So we've got pinks and oranges and greens, purples and black speckles throughout. That's why I've teamed it up with black. I have got another one in the skein. I might be able to see the colours a bit better. There we go. So those are the colours I'm using. So it's a high twist yarn. So I wouldn't, obviously, you know, if sometimes it's really nice to make a garment in all hand dyed, but I wanted black, and budget wise, I mean, these were gifts, but I would have needed 2 hand dyed skeins of black, and what would that have been if they were, even if they were £16 a skein, that's another £32, which I couldn't not justify, I couldn't afford. Whereas 2 of these is £6, something like that. And I think that they work well together. It's a good way of making your hand dyed go a bit further. So like I say, that is, oh, there's another skein of yarn in there. That is Floof Fibre's Haunted House. And I shall keep you updated on the progress. This is going to have, so you can see I've just started again with the black. So it's going to be stripes of the colours and the black. I should be able to do a little bit on it now. My arms are much better, but I shall only be doing it in short bursts. Right. There we go. That's that one. That's, oh no, I have got another knitting one. In another of Amelia's bags, Amelia X Joy, this is a Star Wars bag. And this is my, oh, excuse me. I had my hair cut yesterday and I think there's still little tiny weeny bits everywhere. This is my knit club project. Normally I take socks, but I didn't fancy socks. So this is going to be really hard to show again. I will put pictures of the patterns of these unfinished projects in so you can see where I'm aiming. This is a cowl. It's on a very small wire at the moment. I need to go onto a larger wire and then you'll be able to see it a bit better. Not a huge amount to show yet anyway. It's just rib and stocking at the moment. Oh, it's going a bit grey. And this time I have little frogs. This, let me show you the pattern. Let me tell you what the pattern is. This is the Knit Chat cowl from Chit Chat Knits. Oh, that's a mouthful. And it actually, if you in the pattern, it says it's designed for knitting with friends. Not completely plain knitting, but enough pattern that you can keep an eye on what you're doing, plus chit chat, which we do a lot of. This yarn was a bargain for a start. I have had some real good bargains on de-stash sites at the moment. I'm in a group on Facebook called Yarn Snobs. And that's a great place for hand-dyed de-stashes. This is a zebra yarn, more beautiful bright colours that you know I like. This yarn is from Rainbow Fusions, which I've had a lot of her yarns before, absolutely lovely. And this is a 100% superwash merino zebra yarn and it's called Monster Hotel. So not a huge amount to show on that one. so you can see what sort of colours are in there. Got a bit of everything: green, orange, pink, blue, black, purple. When there's a bit more and the cable's longer, it'll be easier to show you, but like I say, I will put a picture of what I'm aiming at. So that's that one. And last project that I'm working on, I started the other evening after the arms had gone down, because I knew Ruth was coming up to do some crochet with me. I thought I'd best test my crocheting abilities and make sure, you know, it's not going to hurt too much. So I did, and I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I was looking through things and I thought I just want something easy. So I headed to Attic24, Lucy's blog, and I chose her Jolly Chunky bag. I've made one before, probably 6-7 years ago, back when I first learnt to crochet. It was one of the first projects I did after Granny Squares. So I thought I'd give this a go again. And this is a chunky bag. This is, I've made the whole, the actual bag part. The pattern is crocheted in Stylecraft Special Chunky, and, you know, in stripes. What I have done is gone through Stash, found a rainbow in my Stylecraft Special DK stash, then held two colours together to make it up to a chunky, and then I'm just, so if we say start here, then I've held together the light purple and the dark purple. Then for the next stripe, dropped the light purple, kept the dark purple and added a blue, and then same again, dropped the purple, kept the blue, and then so they fade into each other. I really like how it's come out, actually. Really works quite well. Really simple. This is a free pattern, by the way, as are, you know, all of Lucy's patterns on her blog. So I don't think I'm giving too much away. I won't tell you obviously the whole pattern, but it's a circular base, then your sides, all done in trebles, and then this scalloped edge. I've got to make 2 handles, and the handles are attached like so, and where they attach to the bag, you can make little flowers and sew over the top, which I did on the last one. So I will be doing very similar on that. And yeah, that's as far as I've got with that one. It won't take me too much longer, I don't suppose. I'm really enjoying it. Haven't done much crochet for a while in this respect. I've done amigurumi, and it made me, my blanket, which is, I've shown before, is over there, and it's a bit hot for blankets, but it is making me think, oh, I'll get on with that soon. So that's the last whip. Yes, definitely. I have got one more thing to show you, which is sort of a whip, I guess, and I just thought I'd show you very briefly. But as I mentioned earlier, but in between this podcast and my last podcast, I did a little shop update, which was my first shop update of selling my bags. Thank you so much to those of you who have purchased a bag. I've seen photos of people using them. I know Mandy showed hers on her podcast. Thank you so much, Mandy. And they were being put to good use, which is brilliant. There are a couple of bags left. There's 1 large bag and 2 small bags left. So my shop is on my Ko-fi. So you can support the podcast channel by donating. You can buy me a coffee, no pressure to at all, but that is where my shop is, and that's where you purchase the bags from. There's a link below. I am making some more bags, and I am hoping, I'm looking into it, and from the next update I will be doing some international deliveries, definitely. But I thought I'd just show you very quickly. There's going to be 4 of these bags. I've been EPPing on my little needle case, which made me think I'd like to do a bit more. So I was making these hexagon flowers. So we all know I love rainbow spots, and then I've hand embroidered a little rainbow in the middle. So I didn't know what I was going to do with these, and then I thought, haha, just the right size to go on the front of a bag. So this is as far as I've got with this one. So the hexagon flowers are going to go on a white square framed with a colour, and then there'll be, I haven't got one of my bags to show you, but there'll be a drawstring, different colour at the top, probably spotty, and that will be those. So that is everything to show you today, and I'll let you know when there's going to be another update for the shop. I'll put it on my Instagram, and I might even do a separate video like I did before, or if it happens to time with the next podcast, I will do it at the end of the next podcast. So I can hear someone coming in the front door. That's everything for this time. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a little bit of a long rambly one as always, but I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the next podcast. Thanks everyone. Bye.